10 most powerful extinct eagle species. From the bald eagle to the harpy eagle to the golden eagle, there are over 60 living species of eagles today. Many are powerful and fast and extremely successful hunters, but there are many extinct eagles that were very powerful, including some that were stronger and larger than the birds of prey we see in the skies today. And the biggest ones of all, it's incredible to imagine the large animals they were picking off as prey. The biggest one of all, get ready, you won't believe the wingspan this giant had. Get ready for the 10 most powerful extinct eagle species that ever graced our planet's skies. Woodward's eagle. Woodward's eagle was a species of black hawk that lived during the late Pleistocene era. It was found throughout North America and the Caribbean. The Woodward's eagle was essentially North America's version of the Harpy Eagle. And if you know anything about the Harpy Eagle, you know you're dealing with an aggressive bird of prey with strong talons. There are now only 2 eagles present in North America, but when the Woodward's eagle was around, he was an excellent hunter. He was actually one of the largest birds of prey ever found. However, he hunted in open habitats, so he was more agile and less robust than some forest-dwelling eagles. Still, the Woodward's eagle was an impressive combination of power and speed. He had a total length of about 43 inches, and as he hunted throughout North America, his main victims were small mammals and reptiles. He was larger than a harpy eagle, and it is believed he may have been even stronger, which is impressive considering the power of the harpy. The Woodward is no longer around, but he isn't the only extinct eagle from North America. Grinnell's crested eagle. Meet Grinnell's crested eagle, another eagle from the late Pleistocene era. Grinnell's crested eagle is known to have lived in places that are now West Palm Beach, Florida, parts of Georgia, areas of New Mexico, and also many places in California, like Rancho La Brea. This eagle likely reached lengths of 32 inches or so, and it may be smaller than some other eagles, but it made up for it by being extremely strong in that smallish package. In addition to hunting for bats, birds, and reptiles, it also sought out relatively large prey like opossums, large rodents, and some primates. Grinnell's crested eagle had a relatively large head and also smaller wings than you'd think for a bird of its size. They were broad and rounded, making this eagle more suited for habitats such as forests and the like. This bird of prey with these wings, he was an expert at navigating between trees, cutting and turning suddenly, soaring through dense woods with agility and ease, and then dropping those talons down on his prey. Whether they were on the forest floor or trying to escape on the tree branches, they probably wouldn't be successful. Grinnell's crested eagle had immense strength for his size, and he had quite the appetite on him. Perhaps that's why he sprung for primates. Archaehyrax sylvestris. There are only 3 living species of eagle currently living in Australia, but a long time ago there were other eagles ruling the land down under. Archaehyrax sylvestris was one of the ancient eagles in Australia, living around 25 million years ago. Archaehyrax sylvestris would have been slightly smaller than a wedge-tailed eagle, which has a wingspan of about 9.5 feet and is around 3.5 feet long. But the most important thing to note about him is that he would have been the largest eagle during this time period. Meaning 25 million years ago, Archaehyrax sylvestris was king of the Australian skies. His name is Greek for ancient hawk of the forest. He's also believed to be one of the oldest eagle-like raptors in the world, one of the first of a new evolution of birds. The footspan of Archaehyrax sylvestris was nearly 6 inches long, so he wasn't just picking off small animals as he ruled the continent, he was grabbing large prey with his massively strong talons. Archaehyrax sylvestris hunted koalas as one main source of food, but it needs to be highlighted he was hunting the largest of koalas. Koalas can surpass 30 pounds. Clearly, the stomach of the ancient hawk of the forest had a centuries-old appetite. Malagasy crowned eagle. Most of the world's eagles live in Africa and Asia, and there are plenty from these regions that have gone extinct. One of them was the Malagasy crowned eagle, which was a bird of prey endemic to the island nation of Madagascar. You might be thinking of the movie Madagascar and thinking of the cute lemurs in it, and wondering if this bird of prey feasted on them. Sorry to say, yes, he most certainly did. The Malagasy crowned eagle was similar in size to the African crowned eagle, but probably a bit larger. And not only was he strong and a great hunter, he was likely an apex predator in the Malagasy forests. The other apex predators here during this time would have been the giant fossa and the voi crocodile, so they could take the land and water, The Malagasy crowned eagle had the air alone. It is believed this bird of prey lived all the way until the 16th century, and its cause of death was likely from overhunting by humans. If not for that, this eagle may have still been around and still terrorizing the Madagascar lemurs. Hawaiian eagle. Flying back to North America and skipping over the mainland so we can head all the way to Hawaii, there was the Hawaiian eagle. The Hawaiian eagle is part of Haliaeetus, a genus of eagles which includes 4 living members. The living members are the white-tailed eagle, Stella's sea eagle, Pallas's fish eagle, and the bald eagle. The Hawaiian eagle would have been very similar to these birds in size, power, and speed. It was the largest eagle on the mainland of Hawaii, so he could choose to hunt on the island or hunt the seas surrounding him. Fossils have been found on Maui and Oahu of the Hawaiian eagle, and they suggest he lived from the mid-Pleistocene to the late Holocene era. In Hawaii nowadays, there are white-tailed eagles and Stella's sea eagles, and these are the 2 that would be most closely related to our extinct Hawaiian pal. By the way, those are eagles that can dive at about 100 miles per hour, so if you were a prey animal on Hawaii and this eagle locked eyes on you, you could say aloha. Not the hello version of aloha, the goodbye version. Giant prairie eagle. But the largest eagle ever to live in North America is the now extinct giant prairie eagle. This guy was enormous. He had a total length of 4.5 feet, and his wingspan was about 11 feet from tip to tip. Those wings were exceptionally large, which he used for flight in open country, covering large swaths of land every day, searching for prey to swoop down and attack. The giant prairie eagle could be found in open prairies and other such habitats throughout the US, and even parts of Mexico and Canada. He had a large area he surveyed, picking off prairie dogs, jackrabbits, snakes, and even calves of antelopes. He lived during the Holocene epoch, however he went extinct due to habitat changes. He existed alongside humans, and Native Americans revered this eagle for his regal appearance and sheer raw power. Dinotoitus pachyosteus. In Australia, one of the largest eagles to ever live was named Dinotoitus pachyosteus. It had short, stout wing bones but large, robust legs. It would have been similar to the wedge-tailed eagle in terms of its wingspan, and the wedge-tailed eagle is Australia's largest living bird of prey. But the bones of Dinotoitus pachyosteus were so much more robust, especially in the legs, so this bird possessed even more power. Dinotoitus pachyosteus was much more heavily built, so it's unclear if he lacked a bit of speed in comparison to the wedge-tailed eagle. But even if he did, once he caught his prey, he more than made up for it with strength, able to latch onto and pick up fairly large prey. He lived during the Pleistocene more than 50,000 years ago. You might be thinking this was the worst bird of prey that small, tasty animals might have seen in Australia, but you'd be wrong. Dinotoitus gaffai. Similar first name, different last name. Dinotoitus gaffai was another gigantic eagle that used to live in Australia, and he was even bigger than Dinotoitus pachyosteus. When the fossils of Dinotoitus gaffai were found in a 56-foot deep vertical cave, the lucky discoverers came away with a lot. Wings, talons, leg, skull. They were able to picture Dinotoitus gaffai in full. He would have had a 10-foot wingspan, and after putting all the pieces together, it was determined that he was the largest bird of prey to ever soar the skies of Australia. Dinotoitus gaffai lived between 50,000 and 700,000 years ago, and was also probably the largest bird on the planet during that time. Even stronger bones, more powerful talons, and a deadly grip that animals would not easily get away from, if they could at all. Dinotoitus gaffai is also called Gaff's powerful eagle, so clearly he belongs on our list. He not only went for small mammals, but he preyed upon the larger ones too. He likely could have picked off the young or the sick of species such as monitor lizards, kangaroos, and a giant bear-like marsupial that was named Diprotodon optatum. He's also called the Lord of the Rings eagle, as he is compared to the fictional eagles in the books. Now, those eagles were massive, and Gaff's powerful eagle wasn't that big, but he could have picked up a hobbit and carried him away if he was given the opportunity. Gigantohyrax swaretsi. Only 2 eagles were larger than Gaff's powerful eagle, and one of them was Gigantohyrax swaretsi. We've got to head pretty far off from Australia to locate this guy, way over on the island of Cuba. In Cuba, this gigantic hunting bird went after large rodents, and he was very successful. An interesting piece about Gigantohyrax swaretsi was that the thighs had flared ends and a twisted structure, so it is believed he may have been quite terrestrial, meaning this eagle could have been hunting from the sky and the land. His hunting skills were top-notch, and he ate a lot. How else do you think he got so big? Not only was Gigantohyrax swaretsi the largest eagle ever in all of the Americas, but in comparison to the largest living eagle in the Americas, the Harpy Eagle, he probably was 40 to 50% heavier. Living on the island of Cuba, he's a perfect example of island gigantism, but he still wasn't the largest eagle to ever live. He was the largest eagle in the Americas, and we found the largest in Australia. Where do we have to go to find the largest ever? Haast's eagle. You may have heard his name, Haast's eagle, the largest extinct eagle and the largest eagle to have ever lived. This guy was the king of them all. He had the size, the grace, the speed, and of course the power. He had a huge wingspan, floating around 11 feet like some other giant ancient eagles, but he was so much heavier. He would have weighed 40 pounds, maybe even more. And where did we have to go to find Haast's eagle? To the South Island of New Zealand. So, why was Haast's eagle so big? Was it another case of island gigantism? Or was it because living over there on New Zealand, he had to adapt and grow? Because one of his favorite choices of prey was the flightless moa, a gigantic bird that weighed over 400 pounds itself. Haast's eagle had to be big and powerful in order to take this bird down. And when the Haast's eagle was ready to feed, he plunged his head into the body cavity of the moa, feasting on its vital organs. Brutal, huh? The problem was, people began hunting the moa and eventually made that entire species go extinct. Haast's eagle couldn't find another option to eat, and he too went extinct in around 1445. But for a while he was the largest eagle living and was taking down massive animals and showcasing his impressive strength. He may not be around anymore, but he'll always be the largest and most powerful eagle to ever live.